Hi, I am Jamie Tennis, the Executive Director of United Way of the Black Hills. Thank you all so much for taking the time to join us this morning, as well as for helping us maintain social distancing by attending our virtual press conference. There will be time at the end for Q&A if you want to enter your questions into the chat box, and we'll get to them at the end. I'd like to thank Lynn Evans, CEO of Black Hills Energy, for joining us today. Hi, Lynn.
Good morning, thank you.
We are living in surreal times right now, due in part to the uncertainty of so many aspects of the pandemic and the fact that it's impacting each and every one of us in some way. We are all asking ourselves the same questions. How long will this last? What will be the impact on my business and my job? How can I balance working and watching my kids while keeping them engaged and on track educationally? Will I get sick? All of this uncertainty is leading to a load of stress on all of our shoulders, within our families, as well as for so many businesses and nonprofits in our community. As we all readjust to how we practice social distancing while still maintaining our daily lives, this pandemic will have a direct impact on the services needed in our community. Things like resources for those who've lost their job, childcare for essential workers, food for families who were already struggling before these additional hardships, assistance so no one loses a home. These are just a few of the needs we are already seeing in the Black Hills. But we are not alone in this. Our community is strong. Now, United Way of the Black Hills is working with our local community leaders and nonprofit organizations to understand what are the most urgent needs facing our community and how can we help to address them through our partnerships, resources, and funding. What we have learned is that a number of the nonprofits serving the Black Hills are experiencing significant increases in the need for their services for things like food, financial assistance, mental health counseling, and educational support. In some instances, we are already seeing as much as a 300% increase in clients seeking service. That is what brings us here today. We at United Way recognize the immediate and long-term needs that will be facing our community. In March, we announced the creation of our United We Stand COVID-19 Response Fund. To date, we have raised over $1,300 from our community. We are very excited to announce that the United Way of the Black Hills Board of Directors has approved allocating an additional $100,000 to this fund. So what will these funds be used for? Well, when we first began exploring how we as an organization could help, the original idea was to hold supply drives. 3 weeks ago, when a lot of this flurry of activity started, a local network of providers, funders, and local government began meeting daily to assess the needs in our local community. What we saw in just that first week was that the supply needs were changing, sometimes on a daily basis. So for that reason, we decided to concentrate on a virtual supply drive concept to raise money instead of an actual supply drive. The funds that we raise will be granted to nonprofits who can then purchase the supplies and offer the services needed most in that moment in time. Any nonprofit serving the Black Hills is eligible to apply for these grant funds. The focus, though, will be on agencies who are addressing the increasing demand for services and resources around basic needs, mental health, and education supports as a direct result of the pandemic. The grant application is available on our website at unitedwayblackHills.org/coronavirus information. We will be reviewing the applications on a case-by-case basis. At the moment, there is no set deadline, although our grant funding is dependent on what we raise through the response fund. With that fund, 100% of donations made to it will be given away through these grants. I'd like to be clear, this is a specialized fundraising campaign, completely separate from our normal annual United Way campaign. These funds will only be used for pandemic response related grants. Again, 100% of what we raise is going to be going out in grants to local nonprofits in our Black Hills community. The way that you can donate is by texting BH COVID help to the number 41444, or donating via our website by clicking the Donate Now button and on the form selecting the category COVID-19 fund. While the $100,000 that our board has designated to this fund is important, we know that that is not going to be enough to meet the increasing need of the pandemic. That's why I am thrilled to share that Black Hills Energy has generously offered a 1-to-1 match on all donations that we receive to this fund from this moment on, up to $25,000. We cannot tell you how significant this opportunity is. To share more about Black Hills Energy's commitment to our local community, I'd like to turn it over to Lynn Evans, CEO of Black Hills Energy.
Jamie, thank you very much, and good morning to you and good morning to everyone. And thank you for allowing me to join this meeting, and especially virtually via Zoom. Myself and my coworkers, we've been working from home for almost 3 weeks now, and I'm confident I speak for all of us that we are certainly looking forward to getting back to normal as soon as safely possible. As you said, Black Hills Energy greatly appreciates its long partnership with the United Way of the Black Hills. We've been fortunate to be partners, and we're in this together. When the United Way first started in the Black Hills back in the 1940s. That's a pretty long relationship, and we're very pleased to have that benefit of that partnership for both our company and especially for the region within which we live. We're a provider of critical electric services here in the Black Hills region, and we're very committed to ensuring all the communities we serve maintain access to these special services, especially as we provide services that will allow our local economy to once again thrive. We're on the other side of this pandemic event. But our care for our customers goes well beyond just making sure the lights stay on. Yesterday, Black Hills Energy announced a corporate-wide commitment of $375,000 for immediate relief efforts across the 8 states that we proudly serve, including more than $100,000 that's designated for relief efforts right here in our Black Hills service territory. Today, we are privileged to once again partner with the local chapter of United Way to support their United We Stand Fund. Now, this special fund will support the important work of nonprofits serving those in need here in the Black Hills. And we have committed to match, as Jamie said, 100% of the first $25,000 raised in community donations. So we challenge our friends, our neighbors, our co-businesses in our communities to step up, please, in this time of need for this great cause. Certainly, our hearts and our prayers sincerely go out to all those who are impacted by COVID-19, whether they've been impacted physically or economically, as we witness its impact upon the communities where our families, our friends, and our customers live, work, and raise their families. We've had employees impacted directly by COVID-19. The United Way and the Black Hills Energy have been by our customer side throughout numerous challenges over many decades, and we will continue to do so through this challenge too, just like all of the challenges we've all faced before. Along with Jamie and her selfless and dedicated team at United Way, we thank and commend all of them for all that they are doing to help those who are the first responders of providing essential services here in our Black Hills communities. Our prayers and our thoughts were with them. And certainly we're all in this together. So thank you, Jamie, very much for the opportunity to partner with you and your team.
Thank you so much, Lynn, and all of the employees at Black Hills Energy for your amazing support, not just for our local community, for every community that you guys work in.
Thank you very much.
Again, if you'd like to donate, now is the time so that you can double your impact thanks to the match opportunity with Black Hills Energy. We will be continually monitoring the fundraising drive and letting everyone know how much we've raised, what nonprofits are receiving the grant dollars, and how they are using the funds. We will be hosting some Facebook Live events to help share those stories of why these funds are so important. We are in the process of working out those dates and times. So stay tuned and follow us on Facebook to find out when those will be. In the meantime, we will also be doing a lot of important activities for our community. We are looking at how we can share mental wellness and early education resources for the general public. We will be hosting informational presentations on important topics, especially those that will be of a benefit for our nonprofit organizations in our community. And we will continue to lead and participate in community discussions to ensure that we as an organization are aware of the immediate and long-term needs in the Black Hills, so we can always ensure our resources and those of the community who are supporting our drive are being used effectively to help. There are amazing efforts already underway in all of our communities in the Black Hills. There have been large efforts, like looking at the childcare system to ensure that essential workers have access to care, and assisting groups like the Black Hills Area Community Foundation as they work to assess the food efforts happening and streamline that process. But there are also small efforts underway, like helping Salvation Army, who had material donated for making face masks, connecting them with senior centers that are a part of the United Way family, like Minaloosahan and the Custer Senior Center, who has clients, their participants, who are helping to sew. And working with organizations like Wealthfully to make sure that they had computers and tablets for the youth in their residential services so that they can access their schoolwork. Those iPads were coincidentally donated by Black Hills Energy. So there are amazing efforts, and we know that that will continue thanks to the caring community that we all are blessed to live in. At this point, I'd like to open it up if anybody has any questions. Again, if you want to type your questions into the chat box, and Lynn and I can both see those and address those.
The first question is, what compelled Black Hills Energy to do a match for the fund? That's part of who we are. We believe very much in that we reap what we sow. And it's very important for us to sow into our communities that we serve. And as I said before, the United Way has been a very long partnership with us. And so we saw this idea. We thought, yes, that's something that we really want to be part of. And we've been working over the past week, in fact, learning about ways that we can support the communities we serve through this arguably unprecedented time, at least in our lifetime. So it's just part of who we are and our values, and exercising our values each day.
The next question is, how quickly will nonprofits be awarded the grants? So those grants have just gone live. Nonprofits are able to apply for those now. And what we will do is continually monitor as those come in and make those funding decisions on a case-by-case basis. There is no set deadline and time when we'll review those. We understand that many of these requests are urgent needs, and so we have adapted our vetting process to meet those urgent needs so that we can get that funding out soon. What does allocating the $100,000 mean for other organizations who aren't some of those direct COVID response groups? Great question. So the $100,000 that our board of directors has allocated for this COVID effort was originally funding that we had allocated with the launch of our new mental health initiative that we announced back in January. And we had planned on releasing some grants tied to that mental health work for the Black Hills community, but in light of the pandemic, our board decided that it was more important that we reallocate those dollars towards this effort before we launch those new grant opportunities. And of course, as we all recognize, the mental health aspect will be seen through these pandemic efforts as well. But we were lucky enough to receive a grant from the John T. Vakurovich Foundation for some of our mental health efforts. So we will be continuing to start that work, but in the meantime, we had an opportunity with this funding to make a real difference in the here and now for those that are being impacted by the pandemic. Let's see. Would you mind elaborating a little more on the virtual drive for donations? Yes, so we have launched a brand new fundraising drive called our United We Stand COVID-19 Response Fund. Again, this is a different fundraising drive than our traditional United Way drive. All of these funds, 100% are going to be granted out to any nonprofit in the Black Hills who is working to meet the needs due to an increased need from the pandemic, focused on basic needs, mental health, educational supports like childcare. And so through that fund, we will be giving out these grants, and then at the moment, and up to $25,000, we are lucky enough to have a match grant opportunity with Black Hills Energy for a 1-to-1 match. So anybody who donates now, their dollars are basically doubled to have that much more of an impact in our community. You can donate by texting BH COVID help to the number 41444, or via our website at unitedwaybblackhills.org, clicking the donate button. And then when you're filling out that form, there is an area where you can designate where you'd like your dollars to go, and there is a COVID-19 choice.
Jamie, I think the next question is for me. The question is, a basic need right now is electricity. Lynn, can you go over again how Black Hills Energy addressed their customers' needs, especially during this time? Yeah, thank you for that question. About 2.5 weeks ago, roughly, we decided as an organization that we were not going to disconnect customers for non-payment while this pandemic lasts. So we're working with our customers to make sure they have the electricity they need to support what they do each day in their homes through this pandemic. So that was our response, was to not disconnect customers for non-payment and to work with them on the other side of the pandemic with making sure we keep their lights on and have electricity.
Any other questions? All right, as a reminder, this meeting has been recorded and we will be sending out a follow-up email with the recording attached. I'd like to thank you all again for being here and for all that you are doing at your respective media stations to help share important messages that will help us all stay connected and healthy. Times are tough right now, but united, we will pull through and come out stronger. And as a reminder, if anybody does reach out to you in need of services, one of the best places to start is to refer them to helplinecenter.org. They have a special COVID response site set up and are really acting as that central hub to capture all of the different activities, services, resources that are available for our community right now. Again, thank you so much. Oh, there is a question. How soon will the media receive the PSAs to broadcast? We will try to get that out as soon as we can.